أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وحشر لسليمان جنوده من الجن والإنس والطير فهم يوزعون حتى إذا أتوا على واد النمل قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون.
And they were gathered together unto Solomon his armies of the jinn and mankind, and of the birds, and they were set in battle order, till when they reached a valley of the ants. And ants exclaimed, O ants, enter your dwelling, lest Solomon and his army crush you, unperceiving. And this verse of the Quran is found in Surah An-Naml, ayah 17 and 18. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was one of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was given knowledge. He was given knowledge to an extent that he was able to converse with the natural environment. Sulaiman was able to understand the communication of the bird, the communication of the animals, the communication of the jinns, the communication of so many creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the story of an ant. The woman of an ant that Sulaiman met on their way to the battlefront. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they were marching, and they reached to a valley, and there was an ant who saw the army of Sulaiman. What is the natural reaction when you see an army marching towards you, and you are just a small creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, an insect? What will be the natural reaction? The natural reaction is you will try to save yourself. The natural reaction is you try to hide yourself so that you will not be harmed by the army. But this was not the natural reaction of the ants. What was the reaction of the ant? The reaction of the ant was to go and inform the entire ummah of the ants to enter into their dwellings so that the army of Suleiman will not cross them unperceived. So Suleiman alayhi salam was able to hear the voice of the ants, and he stopped the army. And he was very happy because the ants said they will cross us without perceiving, that means unknowingly. So Suleiman knew that this ant knew that this man that is coming with his army is a prophet and will not harm us if he knew that we are on his way. That means there will be no blame on Suleiman if the army could have crushed the entire ummah of the ants. But the lesson that we have to learn from this ant is that we have to have the concern of the ummah. We need to be concerned about the Muslim ummah. The ant saw the army coming. The ant didn't say, oh, I don't care, let me just go my way. The ant said, oh, you ants, enter into your dwellings, lest Suleiman and his army will crush you. That is, the ant had the concern about the ummah of the ant. Because what would benefit the ant if the entire ummah is destroyed? There will be no benefit. So the ummah is the one the ant is depending on. So as Muslims, we have to know that the entire ummah, the Prophet ﷺ said, he gave us the analogy of Islam, the ummah of Islam. He said that the ummah of Islam is like the body, where one part of the body is hurting, the entire body feels the pain. So we should be concerned about the ummah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that all Muslims are brothers. It also means that all Muslims are sisters. But we don't have the concern about the Ummah. The Muslim Ummah, they don't have the love for Islam. They don't have the love of the Muslims. How then the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will descend? Well, we disregard the Ummah. We disregard the Muslims that are going under, suffering in this dunya. How will the help of Allah descend? Wallahi, if we neglect the Muslim Ummah, if we neglect the Ummah, we don't have the concern of the Ummah at heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help will never descend. And we always need the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that is the rope that the Muslims are hanging on. That is the rope that holds us together. All of this thing that is happening today around the world, around the Muslim country, you see, Palestine, Syria, Burma, all of these places that the Muslims are going through suffering, it is because the Ummah of Islam is not concerned about those Muslims. That's why. If the Ummah had a concern about those Muslims that are suffering around the world, Allah's help will come to us. But until then, Allah's help will never descend. So brothers and sisters, we have to learn. This is the ant teaching us moral lesson. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaching us moral lesson through the behavior of the ant. This is just an insight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a small creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah is using to teach us moral lesson. What about we, the human beings? We are the high class creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the human beings. But this ant, they are united. This ant, they are knowledgeable, and they are very much, they respect their ummah. What about us, the human beings? What about us, the Muslims? Where is the Quran? Where is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ? All of this, the Prophet ﷺ taught us how to have concern about your Muslim brother, how to be concerned about your Muslim sister. But the Ummah has neglected all of this, and all we focus on is what we will get in this dunya. And trust me, you will never get this dunya as a Muslim. This dunya, the Prophet ﷺ said, is like a heaven for the non-believer, but it's like a hell for the believer. So this is the hell that we are living in, and we are living in this hell, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us Jannah after this place. Then why are you wasting your time, brothers and sisters? Again, it's advisable that we have the concern of the Ummah. If we can't afford to do anything for the Ummah, make sure you pray for the Ummah. Make sure you pray for the Ummah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to elevate remove all of the sufferings of the Muslims that are going around the world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them, to be their strength, to guard them, to protect them against our enemies, to stand by them, and to give her the courage to always be a good Muslim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم